How are we doing, everybody? I just want to say happy holidays, and let's talk a little bit about the DCU, because this is kind of what happened after Patty Jenkins and what happened with Henry Cavill. I just kind of want to put my 2 cents in about everything that's going on with the DCU, because as you know, James Gunn and Peter Safran came in to head up the DCU. And everybody keeps talking about Peter Gunn and, James Gunn, and everybody's talking about James Gunn is doing this, James Gunn is doing that. But remember that he's not the only one, okay? Peter Safran is his partner, and of course, then they have to go to Zaslav for any kind of approvals on everything. And as you know, Zaslav is not approving very much, okay? As the Batgirl movie, trashed. Okay, and that's for his first 5 minutes that he came in to the company. He was like, "This thing's trash, and I'm trashing it, and I'm just going to take the cut on it and the tax credit, and see you later." So, as you know, after the end of Black Adam, Henry Cavill came in as Superman, and people cheered. "Oh my God, he's back! Yay!" And it may not have been a bad thing because he was pushing for a correct Superman. Okay, a comic book correct Superman, full of hope. And he's the one who kept saying that. Full of hope, etc. I don't think he was very, like everybody else, was not a big fan of what Zack Snyder was doing with the character. And he never understood. That's my biggest thing about Snyder, is that he never understood the characters. And everybody said, "Oh yeah, the Snyderverse. Let's bring the Snyderverse back. Let's see the Snyder Cut." And I sat through the Snyder Cut, and I thought that Justice League was the biggest piece of crap ever. And I know Joss Whedon couldn't save that. I mean, a lot of people aren't fans of Whedon either, especially of that movie. But you know, he was stuck with that movie. He was stuck with the cast of that movie. He was stuck with everything from that movie. And the plot line was trash. No matter how many times you're going to re-edit that thing, the plot line's always going to be trash. Admittedly, the Justice League movie with Snyder Cut was slightly better, but he still doesn't understand the characters. He only understands characters that kill. Because I love the Wonder Woman portion of Justice League, the very beginning part. I could watch that over and over and over again. And then we watched the Snyder Cut version of it, and she's killing people. Right, left, bam, bam. Oh, throw you into the wall. Then, you're dead, you're dead. I'm like, what am I watching here? So he just doesn't understand characters that don't kill. He just doesn't understand it. So now we're going into him, and I was kind of excited about seeing a Cavill movie where he was saying, "Look, I want to be the symbol of hope. I want to be the symbol of the regular Superman." And then all of a sudden, boom, we got the message that he was not going to be Superman anymore. So he tweeted out, I think it was on Instagram, basically, "Thanks for everything, guys, but that's life." And I'm no longer playing Superman. At the same time, Patty Jenkins came in with a treatment, and there wasn't even Safran and Gunn. It was some other people that said, "Yeah, this treatment's not good. We'll be happy to hear something else, but we're not hearing this." And supposedly, allegedly, she sent them a tweet or sent them a message saying, "You guys don't even understand character arcs. Here's a Wikipedia link to explaining what character arcs are," and stuff to that effect. And anyway, so she was refused to change anything. Again, it's allegedly. And I say allegedly because then she came back and said, "Oh, that's all false. That's all false." But either way, she's done. Patty Jenkins, Wonder Woman 3 is done. It's not happening. And that was confirmed by Gunn. And he's writing his own Superman project, and he's writing a younger Superman project. So therefore, Cavill can't play the role anymore. So that, I think they're totally distancing themselves from the Snyderverse. I think that anything that has to do with the Snyderverse is officially gone. It doesn't exist anymore. So it's never going to come back. Now, everybody's saying, well, what if he brings in one of his favorite actors, Margot Robbie, from the Suicide Squad. How's everybody going to feel about that? So she may be gone as Harley Quinn. Also, as you know, we have the Joker coming in with Lady Gaga playing, which is going to be some kind of a musical. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the first Joker either, because you can't have the Joker without Batman. It just doesn't work. And I don't know if a lot of people like that movie. It made $100 million off of like a $20, $30 million budget, so it was definitely a positive cash flow situation. It just wasn't for me. And now we have the Batman with Pattinson, and what's going on with that? So if we have a younger Superman and we have a younger Batman, but they're not going to be connected, I don't think that's going to work. They have to connect it in some way. Either they're going to stop making the Batman, but as far as I know, Reeves' Batman is still going to happen. So they keep saying that, no, it's going to be separated, but I don't think that's going to happen. If you have a younger Superman and a younger Batman, it only makes sense to then put them together. And, of course, we'll be getting another Wonder Woman as well. And thank the Lord, we'll be getting another Aquaman. So Momoa is out of Aquaman after this new movie. So he's going to play in this new movie, and then supposedly he's coming in as Lobo. Now, is Lobo going to be the villain in the new Superman movie? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But he is, as far as I know, he's being tapped for Lobo, which he's far better suited than he is Aquaman. Now, are we going to go back to the Rebirth characters? And when I say Rebirth, those are Jeff Johns rebooted several years ago the DC Universe in comic form with a thing called Rebirth. And they were some of the best comics that DC had ever done, or had done since the 70s. And that's because Jeff Johns understands the old characters. He understands, because Marvel and DC are completely different. Marvel's a little bit more gruff and gritty. It always has been. And DC was more colorful, and with the characters were more full of hope. They didn't kill, none of that. And that's why when Marvel came on, they had more characters that killed. You know, people gravitated towards those two different companies, depending on what you like more. And of course, I'm also a fan of the Punisher and stuff like that. I was collecting the Punisher when I was in college. But, you know, Aquaman and Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman were always, you know, some of my favorites because of that ideology that they all had and shared. And I didn't get that up till we did Rebirth, and I got my Aquaman back when Rebirth happened. I was so pleased. That's some of the greatest. If you haven't read any of the Aquaman stuff that Jeff Johns did for Rebirth, I suggest reading that. You know, because before that we had the Aquaman with the hook and the beard, and I just was not a fan of that. And then when they rebooted him back to the way he was, I was a big fan. In fact, I'm reading some of the old 70s stuff again. It was so beautiful. You know, with Mera and you know, they were always the power couple. Anyway, I'm going into the Aquaman side, but they with Momoa, he's officially gone, so we will get a new Aquaman. Of course, we're getting a new Flash anyway, for obvious reasons. That guy was never coming back. Ezra Miller was DOA. In fact, I'm wondering how they still have that movie on the docket, but I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I can't stand that. I couldn't stand that guy before he got into trouble. So anyway, we'll see what happens with everything. But everybody keeps saying about, you know, oh, you know, can he write, meaning James Gunn, a Superman movie when it's completely out of his wheelhouse? And it's true, it is. It's completely out of his wheelhouse. It's not the jokey Guardians of the Galaxy or even the jokey Suicide Squad. He's got to make a serious movie, and unless it's going to become, you know, Taika Waititi's, you know, Thor, where everything's a joke. You know, even though Gunn is a far better writer and a far better director than Waititi is, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so we'll see what happens with that. But I think he's going to have to put it through so many different loopholes, like Safran, who comes from The Conjuring. And if you ever thought of an interconnected thing in horror, there is none besides The Conjuring thing. And yes, there's been some bad Conjuring movies, but there has been some good ones too. So I'm excited to see what those two can put together and interconnect. And then with Zaslav's leadership, I don't think we're going to get a crappy movie. Especially if you take a Superman movie, if you screw that up right off the bat, there is no rest of it. Because without Superman, then you don't have Batman, and without Batman, you don't have Wonder Woman. It's dead on arrival right with bat. It's just gone. So unless they started out correctly, plus I heard his contract's only for 4 years, right? Of course it's renewable, but if he doesn't get it right in the first 4 years, he's done, and they're going to bring somebody else in. So it's not like Kevin Feige, who's totally screwed up the last phase of Marvel, and he's still around, or Kathleen Kennedy, who's been around for 10 years, driving Star Wars into the ground. I mean, it's so far into the ground right now, it's at the core of the earth. That's how buried fucking Star Wars is. With Andor being just unwatched. So they're afraid that, all these things can possibly happen to the DCU. It's already a problem. Black Adam didn't do very well. It basically did less than Avatar in his entire run, and Avatar did in his first week. So I don't know. Of course, we had 2 good movies, or 2 financially good movies. Even Shazam wasn't that great as far as financially. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, but I think that they're going to take the Superman, even though they're saying no, and then bring it into Pattinson's the Batman, and kind of gel it out from there. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, happy holidays. I'll put the links in for if you didn't get in with Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. The editor's on that right now, and even she came back and said she was loving the read. So hopefully you guys will too. But get in on that now for the late pledge. And Lords of LA, I'm going to be launching that. So if you didn't get in on the first and second issue of that, which is combined into one, jump on that as well. It's in the same link as the Tales of Ravenor. And Destiny Rourke just came back with its first audiobook review, with very positive. And the reviews that are starting to pop up have also been positive. So I'm excited to get the second one done. I might run a Kickstarter on this one because I haven't made my money back on it yet, to do this one and then bump to the second one. All right. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all the rest of the religions. Have a great and merry everything with your family. All right. Wish you guys all well. All right, bye.